It's Clearwater Revival, Proud Mary, 25 minutes then, past 3. Well, it's Easter bank holiday, so are you going to go out in the garden? You'll get wet if you do. Or do a bit of DIY, you could do that. Or, maybe, you could do something a bit different and you could go and see a little bit of wrestling. I'm joined now by Jekkel, Edgar Stryfe and Nick. Nick's a promoter. Jekkel's quite scary looking and Edgar's just quite they're big. You're wrestlers, aren't you? I can definitely tell which one's the promoter and which two are the wrestlers. Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon.
I've got to say there, Jekkel, you I don't know what you look like for real life. You're wearing quite a scary-looking mask there now. What that's is that based on anything particularly, that mask?
No, it's just for intimidation, you know.
Yeah, it works. I tell you, it does work. But I mean, how tall are you?
I'm just a shade over 6 foot.
Oh right, but you look quite big.
Yeah,
so you're not that tall. You're not that tall. You're shorty.
So we're about 20 stone at the moment around that area.
Right. Okay. And Edgar Stryfe.
I'm going about 6'2", going on 6'3".
And how happens to you, weigh?
Well, you know, you should never ask a lady these questions. Right, well, a little over 20 stone. We'll go with that.
20 stone. And so, I guess you eat to bulk up then. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
I pretty much eat round the clock, to be perfectly honest with you.
Right. How do you not get it all over the mask though, or do you take the mask off when you're eating?
Sometimes I take the mask off. It depends how fast I need to eat. Yeah.
So I'm assuming when you wrestle, you always have a mask on.
Yeah.
Right. And where does that's kind of like back in the older, because none of you look that old, but I'm guessing that you must have about the wrestling that used to be on the telly a lot on the Sunday afternoon when I was at my grand's when I was a kid. Although you look a lot younger than me.
Not quite that old, to be honest.
But they used to the more intimidating ones wear the masks, don't they?
Yeah, there was Kendo Nagasaki back in the day. I think would be the most famous one.
So did you know about those people? Did you watch that kind of stuff, or have you got this from the Americans doing?
Yeah, we've gone back and watched it since. In fact, on the show coming up this weekend, we have Johnny Kidd, who used to be a star on World of Sport. He was a big, almost household name in the 70s. He'll be wrestling Zack Sabre Jr. on Sunday.
So how do you get into wrestling? How does that all kind of start?
You go to wrestling school.
Wrestling school.
Yeah.
Well, and what is that like? Is that like a course? Is that like a?
Well, we were training every weekend for about 4 years, probably.
Yeah, about 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah,
we were going 2 years before we even did a show.
Really? That sounds like a long time.
It takes a long time to be able to do it without getting injured.
Well, yeah,
and knowing how to do it.
Oh, not without getting injured. Oh, but isn't that part of the thing?
Injuring the other guy, that's part of the fun.
Right. The only thing is, right, I know I don't want to get into trouble because obviously don't be jumping over the desk. But I always got the impression that wrestling was rigged. I'll stand back when I say that.
I knew he was going to ask this, Edgar. Yeah. I knew it. Right, I knew this would come up.
Is that? Would I be wrong there?
I can tell you that that wrestling does hurt. Everything you do in that ring, it does hurt.
Have you ever had any actual proper injuries that really hurt?
Yeah, I've torn my rotator cuff and had to get that surgically repaired.
Right, blown out. Rotator cuff?
It's the thing in your shoulder that sort of holds it together.
That makes it rotate, I suppose.
There you go.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I've had a few broken noses, concussions. I've had my tailbone has been cracked for about 1.5 years now, and I'm still having to work through that, which is why I'm sat in the position that I'm in.
You're leaning forward. You can only lean forward on chairs.
Pretty much, yeah.
It works though. It also makes you look, with the mask, it makes you look more intimidating. So as a whole concept, the whole thing really works. So you haven't really answered the question though. Have you noticed? Just to go back to it,
a lot more real than the critics give it credit for. Our guys get seriously injured. I myself was a wrestler for several years until I tore all of the ligaments in my lower back when a move went wrong.
So no offence, but you're not as big as the others, are you?
No.
So what did you do? Just kind of run around more and like run between people's legs?
He used to be bigger.
Yeah, I used to be bigger, but still used to do sort of the high-flying stuff, jumping off the top ropes and the flips and things like that.
It is actually quite acrobatic, isn't it?
It is. I mean, you say we're big guys. This is like no other sport in the world where you will use a different muscle group to any other sport. Like, when you pick a guy up and, throw him over your head, that you find out very quickly when you first start, there's muscles you didn't even know about that are required to do things like that. That's why we're big dudes now, and Nick's here. He's shrinking every time, every year he's not in the ring.
Day by day.
So your spine gets impacted anyway, does it, from having to pick people up? So you get shorter. So originally you were taller.
I was going on 9 foot.
And is this like a proper job for you?
No.
Right.
It's a part-time thing at the moment. Yeah.
I mean, is it something that you can actually make money out of doing?
Oh yeah, I mean, in America, Japan, Mexico, a lot of people make a good living over it. on just from wrestling. In the UK, not so much, but there's a few guys now. They're going over to America, and they're definitely making their name out there. There's Doug Williams, who's done a show where we're doing a show Sunday night at the Jolly Beggar Club. We had Doug Williams there a couple of years ago. He's now working for a company in Florida called TNA Wrestling. He's on TV every week. He's working with Hulk Hogan at the moment.
I was going to say Hulk Hogan. I know. I've heard of him. He's got to be the most famous one, hasn't he? In America, certainly. Yeah. So tell us about the show then. It's this Sunday.
We've got 2 shows this weekend. I think Edgar will tell you a bit about the Saturday show.
Yeah, the Saturday show is that's a more family-orientated show, and that we've got what we're in.
That'd be me and you.
We've got me and Jekkel,
right?
And as a tribute to the recently fallen Jedward, we would like to be known as Jedgar.
Right,
for that particular show.
I bet you're probably better singers than they are, aren't you?
Oh, of course. You want to hear this guy in the shower. Amazing.
I don't really. And how do you know what he's like in the shower?
That's
tag team partner.
We've been friends for a very long time.
We've
and,
been together a long time.
A lot of dressing rooms we've shared with each other.
And the show on Saturday is at the Haggard Community Centre, and that's in Willenhall.
So when you say that's more of a family show, how's that going to differ from what's going on Sunday?
Oh, well.
Sunday, things will get a bit more dangerous. It's Triple X Wrestling, we call it on Sunday, which is not really recommended for under 16s. It does tend, the violence gets a bit out of hand. Edgar here will be in what's called a death match on Sunday, where he's likely to get cut up and pretty badly injured.
It's a show not for a faint of heart.
Right, so what is that like with chairs getting hit over, that kind of thing? Is it?
It is.
That
Not in every match, but
well, you'd run out of chairs, wouldn't you? You've got to be careful.
yeah, it's it's not intended for children, so
Right.
it's for your more adult wrestling fan.
Okay, because who is a wrestling fan? Do kids like it more than adults?
yeah,
Is there a
kids love
typical
it.
fan?
Everyone's a fan. I mean, you can go from a 5-6-year-old kid up to a 76-year-old granny. We used to do shows down south around London way, and in one show there was an old lady who used to come to every single show and have a brick in a handbag to hit people on the way out.
Right, that's not. She was nice.
But, all kinds of people, all kinds of fans.
So they get quite passionate about it then, obviously as well.
Oh yes, definitely.
people definitely get a bit upset when the results go the wrong way, or...
So the results then, because you still haven't really answered this. The results then, you don't know. Just tell me, do you know the results before you start the match?
I'm going to say sometimes there are exhibition matches, but obviously there's championships involved, and I couldn't say to you that every match is a legitimate sporting contest, but I couldn't say to you that everything is completely rigged, as you put it.
Did I say that? Is that the words I said?
That's the word you used.
By the way, is that real blood on your mask, or is that fake blood?
It's hard to... It's definitely real blood if it's blood, but I think it might be paint, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, I just thought I'd check. Well, listen, thanks ever so much for coming in. Will you be all right getting out without hitting me or anything like that? Just because we are on the radio.
I'll tell you, you did say rigged.
There will be witnesses. Just to let you know, that's a webcam in the corner of the studio, and we're filming everything that you do. So when I put the next tune on, if there's any funny business, we'll know about it. Listen, thank you very much indeed. Good luck. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for having us.
Keep up the good work.